Why do they have these meetings during the day?
Well, I get it.
Everybody is at work.
Well, typically that's not the avenue. We like to try to have them before a Board of Alderman.
Thanks very much.
So like the hour before the Board of Alderman meeting, we like to try to do these. But we have a public hearing on the agenda for tonight, and we're pressed a little bit on time to get this project to the Department of Economic Development for funding. So we only have about 3 weeks to get that done.
So this project is basically in the works as far as you've got set what you're going to do, and you just have to submit it to somebody for funding.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what anybody really says here. You're going to do what you're going to do.
Well, if the Department of Economic Development will fund it, I mean, that's the only thing that's going to keep us from doing the project, is lack of funding. So.
Yeah, let me talk through the presentation here first, then we can get to questions, and
Yeah.
maybe we'll help answer some of the questions. So this is a public hearing for the city's CDBG project 2024 submittal. And what this is, this application, it's the general infrastructure application. Eligible activities, sidewalks, bridges, streets, storm sewer, drainage facilities. We did a project like this for resurfacing, what, 4 years ago? Which is close to your street. And now we're doing a drainage project. And the way it used to work is that you couldn't do back-to-back roadway jobs, but now you can. So that's why we're doing another roadway job. You have to have a low to moderate income above 51%. You guys are at 63.7%, and the application is due September 6th. So that's right away next month. And the max that the city can get is $500,000 for this project. So, picking the project, and that's why you guys are here, and that's what we're talking about, the project we pick has to serve the whole city, kind of. It can't just be a cul-de-sac street here and a cul-de-sac street there in a corner. It needs to be, that's what it's getting graded on, that's what you're getting points for. So when Jason and I talk about the roads to do, it has to serve a lot of people, theoretically. And the engineering grant administrator, like we've done in the past, won't be part of the $500,000. The city will pay for that out of pocket. And then hopefully this project will be completed in the summer, let's say the fall of 2025 if we get the money. So in order to get this grant application, we got to submit a lot of things, okay? And one of the things we first we had to identify again what are the needs of the community. And we're going to do a needs assessment here in a second, but I mean, one of the needs of the community is pretty obvious that it's the roads. I mean, the roads, Jason gave me a big long list of roads all throughout the city, and they all need one. Problem is, you only get $500,000. The problem is you guys only get, what, how much a year for work? 300,000, 200,000?
300, something like that, yeah.
So you got $5 million for the work for $10 million, you got $300,000 a year. So that's why we, Jason and I, and the city in the past have worked together to get CDBG funds. All we get is $500,000. I wish we could get $1 million, but all we get is $500,000. And then this is our third time doing it. Something's better than nothing. I wish we could do more. I've done a preliminary engineering report. I don't have it with me tonight, but this presentation shows you what we came up with. It's required to have a public hearing, which is what we're doing. And then we need to do a needs assessment. We'll do that next, and then we'll work together to submit the application. So the project that we came up with to serve as much of the city as we can and not have it all in one corner, another corner, is well. And we had, again, the list is a lot more than this right here. Murray Street obviously is one that's on there. Didn't we do 2 years or 4 years ago? Didn't we do Murray Street close to it? The road's close to it. I thought we did.
We did Kitchell, which butts the end of it. Yeah.
So Kitchell was this CDBG funding. What, about 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
Yeah, I think 3 years ago.
So what we picked to fit in with the numbers is we picked Miller Drive, Iron Hill Road, and then all these streets down here. And I don't know if this even has a name, this subdivision down does it?
No, not really.
How far down Kitchell, did you go both sides of commercial on Kitchell?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I thought I remembered that.
Yeah, we went
But mainly,
Kitchell
most
from,
of it was Kitchell toward Main Street.
yes, that got sidewalks and then the other side was some base repairs and overlay on that side.
So, I didn't know who was going to be here today, you guys from the streets, but these roads are wrecked, you can't really see it. Here's Iron Hill Road, it needs work. It needs pavement repair and overlay, it's hard to see, but it is in really bad shape. Again, here's just another picture of it, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's cut up, potholes, it's in really bad shape. Here's Mosley Road again, it's pretty bad shape, they're all in really, really bad shape. And I just have a picture of the roads. You can see here, it's falling apart, so these are the roads we picked to do as part of this application. There's Maple Street, Walnut Street,
And
I
it don't
mean,
look like any of them are.
Chestnut Street. I don't know if your roads are worse than these or not, but I mean, they're all, and then there's Miller Drive. So what we did is taking all that, we came, and then the city had some more money for their overlay work this year. We developed a project budget of close to $800,000 was our target number to get done. So of this, 500 will be coming from CDBG and the rest will be coming from the city. So this is the cost summary we'll be submitting for the project. What we need to do as part of this application is a needs assessment survey. We did it. We have to do it every time, I think, and I'll pass it out here in a second. And we'll do that because it's required. And then we'll take a summation of the answers and submit them on the application. And that's really it for the presentation. It's always kind of a formality, we got to do it. We know there's other roads. Trust me, I know I went and looked at all the other roads, and this is the best. If we do this project again in a couple of years, maybe we can get more roads in, or maybe you guys, by not spending the 500 on these, you can do that. So I don't know how to answer your question or help you out.
Well, I'll tell you, if they wait, there isn't going to be any. Because I'm going to have to try to go through the trailer park to pull up in my driveway. Otherwise, I'm going to tear out the undercarriage of my car. The potholes are huge. I didn't see anything on there as bad as Murray Street. Nothing.
Yeah, the trailer park down, we also looked at, what was that one, Jason? That's pretty bad too. I mean, a lot of the roads need work.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm not saying put an employee or resident here, but you guys need more money to do more work.
Right. We have a CDBG stormwater project that's going to start here in a couple of weeks. And that part of that project is north leg from Commercial to Murray Street for ditching, culvert replacements, stuff like that. And there's going to be some crossroad culverts in there. And part of that project, when they were finished, was to overlay those streets in that area. So Murray, Burkle, Bader, and North. But unfortunately, we're too far in the year to get asphalt on the ground before the snow flies. So that overlay of that's going to have to be pushed till springtime because we just can't pave. I mean, you can't pave in November, December. It's just
Right.
you physically. So the current CDBG project was supposed to be done, I think we awarded that thing in April. And we had some issues with getting funding for an already approved project to where, we were bringing state reps in and saying, hey guys, we have this project, it's a need in our city, they've agreed to fund it, and they're just not releasing the funds. So we finally got release of funds maybe a month ago for that project, and we met with the contractor last week. So my hope was to get that done by August and get in here and get everything paved by September, October, and have those streets overlaid. So it is still in our plan to overlay your streets after this CDBG, but it will probably not be until the springtime.
So their street will be spring of 25.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the hope.
Well, this project will be after that, so you guys are ahead of this project, so I guess that's good news. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So is there any way that at least the potholes are can be
We can fill
addressed?
potholes, yeah, I'll have the guys, they do potholes usually once a week. So
Yeah.
I'll have them hit Murray and Bader and Burkle and stuff over there for potholes
Because,
this week or next.
I mean, the school bus comes down through there every morning, pick up all the kids in the trailer park, and they park right in front of my driveway. And they have to come across that big old pothole. Just saying.
Yeah, you guys have a lot more roads in the city than we do.
And typically, we try to do base repairs, or some base repairs ourselves, so like a big pothole, we would come in, dig it out, put new asphalt in. The asphalt plant in St. Clair has closed and sold, so we have to truck asphalt from Pacific. So we can only haul like 8 or 9 tons at a time, and by the time we get loaded, get back to St. Clair and try to fill 3 or 4 big base areas with a skid steer, because we don't have a paver, it gets, by the time you get to that second, third, fourth hole, that stuff's getting pretty cold in the truck and it's hard to work. And they turn out being more washboardy than, so it's, you know, it's not necessarily a great compromise, but, so we're working on getting a contractor to come in and do some of those base repairs for us. And it's an hour and 15-minute turnaround time, so time we drive to Pacific, get loaded, get back, it's an hour. Because everybody goes to Pacific now because Bourbon's just too far out of the realm and Pacific's more central looking. So you sit there for 30 minutes and wait for your truck to get more good.
Do you know what the water problem is at the end of the road on Murray?
I have no idea. I've had listeners, I've had rural water come in with their listening stuff, and they've listened to every meter. We've correlated valves. We dug holes in the street, and there was no water that runs into the hole that we dug in the street. And there's no indication of any kind of water leak
I mean,
that we're aware of.
I mean, yesterday when I come across it every day, of course, and there's just water just bubbling up. Looks like it's bubbling up out of the ground.
Well, it could be a natural spring.
And I know there's been
Something.
several times the city has addressed the water problem at that corner.
Yeah. We may need to get over there again and just dig wherever it's bubbling up and see what we can find.
Just real quick, in terms of selecting the streets that got picked for this project, is that on the Cochran side, or was that you, Jason, or was it kind of, did you guys kind of work together to decide which ones were going to be?
Working together.
Gotcha. And what were the criteria mostly? I know you talked about kind of utility for as many people as possible, but what were some of the other things that went into it?
The criteria, we were trying to fit projects in that were citywide, so kind of hits you saw, northeast, northwest, southwest, so kind of citywide, that was one criteria we're looking at. Paving condition, but I can tell you, there's so many roads in the city that's kind of, any paving you take, you can be okay, it really makes sense. And really the main thing is that when we first, Jason, we looked at a bunch of them, we tried to fit in, trying to get close to that $800,000 budget number, because one group of roads, can't remember what it was, it was just too much money, it was like $600.
They added another $600,000 to the project to do 5 more roads.
Right, so we tried to fit roads in that citywide, serves a lot of people, and get closer to $100,000 number. We kind of went back and forth with it, and just made the most sense from. Wish we could do more, wish we had another $500,000, we could do a lot more, so. Yeah, it's just, and then what we like to do, hopefully in 2 years, do it again. And in 2 more years, do it again. And hopefully CDBG will increase their 500 someday, maybe. 500 doesn't get you very far. That's the problem. They need to go $1 billion. So there was no magic to it. There was no citywide, look at the map. If we had them all clustered up in one area, it's not gonna look as good for the CDBG grade. So we're trying to make it look as good as we can get the funding. So yeah, if you guys, do you fill that out, John? What I need, Jason, is just send me a completed one that's kind of, that has what you guys all think.
Okay.
You don't need to get on standard.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, they do, they come in there, you just kind of get some other sheet, Jason.
Yep, I can do that.
That's really all I need, minutes. That sheet, done, thank you.
Thanks, John.
I have no idea what we're supposed to do with this.
Well, what we like you to do, like for example, on the first one, the water system, is it good, what kind of shape is it in? Good, fair, poor, you just check one of the boxes. And you don't have to fill them all out, but like, for example, I'll tell you one, like the streets. Streets, I would say, are in poor condition. I know that because I looked at them all. So I can guarantee you that. Your water system, Jason, I don't know what kind of shape it's in. Sanitary sewer system, I don't know.
They're both in good condition.
Good condition, yeah. So, things that you know of, if you could comment on or check what you think. And then what we'll do is we're going to take everybody's thoughts and compile them all into one sheet for the application. And I think the bottom line is, again, streets are in high priority in the city of St. Clair.
I have a question. Sometimes it seems to me like funds are used unnecessarily. Like a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say their comment about it is they put all these sidewalks where people don't even walk. Like the sidewalk they put from the fire department all the way down here, all the way down to around nobody walks down there. Very few. I've never hardly ever seen good walking that. And I live like right over here, and I'm down here all the time. They put all that money into all that concrete to make sidewalks where there was no need for sidewalks. I mean, it looks nice, but what was the point? I mean, now they've got all the new condominiums down here, and it does make it look really nice. But unless you knew that those were going in that far ahead of time, what was the point? I mean, they put in sidewalks over in front of the grocery stores. You know, people don't walk there. It would seem to me to be a lot of waste of money to do stuff like that when you have all these bad roads. And to me, it just seems like that poor management. I mean, and a lot more people need to come to these meetings because this is ridiculous, some of the stuff.
The thing with the funding is, so that project was an 80-20 cost share project with MoDOT. So MoDOT pays 80%, the city pays 20%. So when you do a project like that, MoDOT focuses heavily on, what do you call it, multimodal, Dave, is that right? So head traffic, bike traffic,
sidewalks,
all of that type of stuff. So in order to get those funds from MoDOT, you have to include those, you score higher in their point system, and you have to include those things in your project. So if we don't include those, then we get nothing. So
then the road doesn't get resurfaced, then you don't get curbs, then you don't get storms,
Right.
then you don't get driveway roads, you don't get anything.
Right.
Okay, that's.
So
So that's
it's-
so we would rather have, you know,
So the
we would,
state wastes the money.
right.
Well, and it depends his opinion. You know, trust me, I get it, you got local roads all over the city of St. Clair that need attention. And then you look at the bigger roadways that get all the attention with federal funds. But you're not gonna get those federal funds, period, on your local roads. We're lucky to get these CDBG state funds on these local roads. So, that's just the way it is. That's just,
Okay. Is it under the road?
there you go, man. Well, there we go, see, the water system is in poor condition, right?
Post office corner? Okay.
Have a water meter.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess I'll just look at Jason.
I guess we're gonna have to fix it later. This one in the area, then I'm like, Marksburg. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, we got, we're actually calling it our own water, that's it, what else? Unfortunately. That's the problem. I was, so yeah, we might check the way off to the grocery store and apartments and all that stuff.
We get a lot of complaints and everybody, like she said, more people are here.
Oh, yeah, it's not gonna come help us, I got me
Aggravating.
three up. I'll have
Yeah, I
6 and 7, so I'll have a little bit of time here and there, but
just kind of feel like this is like,
it's got the menus in the park. Do you want to call it an emergency locator?
But he said that they're gonna research the road in spring now.
Okay.
So they're giving us feedback, to get the road research in spring,
We did say that.
right?
yeah.
So you-
Yeah, I heard you
Just
say
the old
that.
shed.
So we were, you're, we were
292
down the road this,
That's the number I give.
knowing this,
Call it.
so.
Yeah, but we did not know, as far as what we came to, we did not know that there was any plans to do anything for our roads.
Right. Now you're right, I mean,
Okay.
good thing you came.
Yeah,
All right.
Hopefully by spring you'll
All right,
have a
thanks, bye.
resurfaced road. Isn't that what you said, Jason?
What's that? I'm
Next
sorry.
spring, you're gonna resurface
Murray Street.
Murray.
Yes.
Okay. Well, and like they're saying, they didn't have any idea, nobody against Kane, but, I guess no one knew that it was happening, so. Operation.
Yeah. It was in the paper, it was on the Facebook, it was on the website.
Well, there you go.
I thought they were, like, on the code red or maybe not.
Are you guys on the code red?
yes.
You are. Because I know we did send out a code red. I remember
You
that.
send out pretty fairly, I mean, every time there's a, we get a notice whenever the water's gonna be shut off, and, I mean, I like that, I like, if I'm paying attention, but there's sometimes I'm surprised, I'm like, oh, the water, we don't have any water, what happened, and then I go back and look, because sometimes, it used to be, didn't they used to call? At the beginning, they called everybody.
I think they did, yeah.
Now
we
it's
have
an option.
this code red system, so.
But the code red said about the resurfacing, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, it lets you know what areas and what streets are gonna be closed.
Okay. That's
It
all right.
gives them notice.
Water line and draft on that post office.
So Jason, I'll get you information on that submittable this week, so we get that started, okay?
Okay. Yeah, if you send me a link to wherever I need to
Yep.
go, I'll just log in there and fill out whatever.
And we appreciate you guys coming, because you're helping the city get $500,000 for the city, so your time was not completely wasted.
There's an ordinance to submit the application.
Yeah, when's your meeting, Jason? I can't make it, it's when,
Tonight at 7.
tonight at 7?
Yeah.
When's your next meeting?
Oh, the 19th at 7.
So when are you gonna get everything approved now? You don't have anything.
We're getting
You need that resolution.
the contract you
Or
want.
you get a copy of the contract? Yeah, so that's done. Yeah, so you need to work on it in the next meeting.
Yeah, the 19th you'll get
The
whatever.
resolution, don't use the resolution.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, he
Yep.
just brought
And
in.
then,
Have a good rest of your day.
we need to go through the resolution. I think other than that, there is something. I think it's that you, as long as we have this stuff, we have this kind of things that we can which is,
Right. Whatever it looks like, yeah, on the
I think I
19th.
have an example.
How long you guys been working?
I don't have it with me, Jason, but
How long you guys been working?
Probably just the last month or two.
yeah, last couple of months.
We had always been told that if you can't submit a CDBG project if you have an existing project open. And then I think Dave had a meeting with CDBG folks, what, a month and a half ago or a month ago or something. And that was clarified in that meeting that you could apply again while you had a project open as long as that project was going to close prior to starting the next project. So you can apply, you just can't have two open at the same time.
And the one
But you can have an open and an application at the same
And
time.
the other thing